All right, the number one tip for going to Bonnaroo is to stay hydrated. You're going to make sure you have a lot of water, so pack a lot of bottled water. That's what we take, because you can put it in a backpack and carry it around with you all day when you're at Bonnaroo.
Also, you're going to want to have some Pedialyte or at least some Gatorade, something to replenish the electrolytes that you're going to lose in sweat all day while you're having a great time.
And if you don't want to carry bottled water around with you in a backpack, you're going to want a
Camelback. As you can tell, it's very fashionable, but it's also very useful. You guys should have at least one Camelback per crew. That way, you always have a back full of water. And be courteous. Ask before you take someone's Camelback.
Bonnaroo has lots of filling stations, so you'll be able to fill up your Camelback anytime you want. And with having such a large supply of water, you won't have to wait in line 10 times a day to have your water.
And also during some of the more rowdy shows, you can share your Camelback with your fellow Ruvians.
Yeah, if you see someone about to pass out, you can share a Camelback with them.
Spray them down. Stay
Spray
hydrated.
them down, yeah. So Camelback is something you definitely want to have to stay hydrated.
Definitely.
Totally. For sure.
Our next Bonnaroo survival tip is to make sure you get enough sleep.
Yeah, sleep is definitely a valuable commodity at Bonnaroo. You want enough rest to get you through all 4 days. And to be comfortable, you need to be comfortable to get some sleep. So we always recommend getting an air mattress, bringing an air mattress, or bringing a cot to stay cooler, since it is in the middle of summer in Manchester. It gets really hot out there. Even at night, a cot will be cooler and more comfortable for sleeping.
Yeah, a cot is definitely a good idea for comfort. My first year there, I just slept on the tent floor, and it wasn't really comfortable. And also, with the high temperatures, you're going to want to bring a portable battery-powered fan, so you can put it right on your head, let it blow. It feels wonderful. It's like a dream.
Another way that helps me get more sleep at Bonnaroo is to take a dietary supplement called melatonin. It promotes a healthy sleep cycle. Make sure you talk to your doctor before you start taking anything, and always follow the directions on the label. But it works for me. It might be the right thing to help you get a little extra sleep at Bonnaroo.
If you're a light sleeper, get some earplugs and a face mask. This is all included in the sleeping kit, and it's really, really cheap. I used this my first year, and it definitely helps, because the sun will rise early in the morning, and it'll wake you up. And when you have this on, it is pitch black no matter what. And then obviously you're gonna have people partying and noise around you almost the whole night. And earplugs will definitely come in handy too if you're a light sleeper.
We all know the sun rises in the east, so what you're gonna wanna do is make sure you have a tarp or something set up on the east side of your campsite. All your phones probably have an app that shows a compass on it. You can figure out which direction is east. Make sure the sun's not gonna come up first thing in the morning and be right in your face. If you can have something blocking you, it'll give you an extra couple hours before you've got the sun beating down on you, raising those temperatures up into the 90s or triple digits, which they will be at Bonnaroo.
The next survival tip for Bonnaroo is having a comfortable campsite. And perhaps the most important part of a comfortable campsite are your tents. You can have your regular tent, which zips up and to sleep in, or you can do an easy up, pop-up tent. We prefer to have both, so you can kind of pick which one you want. But the easy up tent is cooler and provides shade, and it's kind of like, it's like the family room or the living room of the campsite. So we all congregate under there, and eat breakfast, drink beer, whatever, talk about our day, plan our day out. But it's just kind of an area where we can all get together and hang out. And also you can sleep there at night because it's a little bit cooler than an inside tent. It's just kind of what you prefer.
Another way we make that space a little more comfortable is we like to put rugs down, or even some scrap carpet. Carpet's expensive to buy, but there's ways to get it cheap. If you know someone who's tearing out some carpet in their house, roll a 10 by 10 section of that up. Easy to throw in to bring to Bonnaroo, and it'll make your campsite just a little more comfortable and help you to stay rested and have an extra great time at your campsite.
I might go as far as saying that easy up is the most important part of your campsite, because you're honestly spending a lot of time under the easy up, especially when it's going to be sunny, and you definitely don't want to be out in the sun all day, and you're going to be waking up and being under the easy up for a good majority of the morning before the shows start, and when you come back and other times during the day when you're not at Bonnaroo. So another way to make that little space more comfortable, you're going to want comfortable chairs. Fold-up chairs is the ones we get. You're going to want at least one chair per person, obviously, so you can all sit around together at the same time in the easy up area.
And one other important thing for a comfortable campsite, well, we know, Bonnaroo is all about good vibes and good people, and it's a great time, great atmosphere, but you can never be too careful. So just make sure that you lock all your valuables up when you leave the campsite in the car. It's going to put kind of a damper on your experience if, someone takes your valuables. So just as an extra precaution, lock your valuables up when you leave.
On the other hand, people give you valuables too as well, so evens it out.
Odds are you're going to break even at Bonnaroo, one way or the other.
Yeah. Also, you're going to want a big cooler to take with you to have all your food and beer, alcoholic beverages, water. One of the best ways to fill up your cooler is to put dry ice in there and then put frozen water bottles on top of that, and then put all your food, your protein bars, energy bars, your fruit, any food that you take with you, put that on top. Then that way the dry ice in the frozen water bottles will keep everything cool and almost for the entire time.
Yeah, it should last almost the entire 4 days, which is great.
Yeah, so you definitely want to get dry ice and frozen water bottles in your cooler, and have a big enough cooler for all that stuff, and multiple coolers if you want.
We bring 3 coolers and try and minimize opening the one with the dry ice in it. The more you open the cooler, the quicker the dry ice is going to run out.
And once you have your comfortable campsite set up, if you follow the directions and have dry ice and frozen water bottles in your cooler, you can crack open a nice cold beverage and enjoy the time.
The next Bonnaroo tip is to be prepared. You never know what's going to happen while you're at Bonnaroo, so you want to make sure you have everything you would need to give yourself a little better time. You always want to make sure you have things like duct tape, rope, zip ties, straps, bungee cords, things to put tarps up around your campsite to either keep rain out, keep the sun out, or anything to make your campsite more comfortable. You also want to make sure you have things like wet wipes and Gold Bond. It's a hot week and you'll end up sweating. Wet wipes are a great way to clean up a little bit during the day, to wipe some of the dirt and grime off. They're also a great toilet paper substitute. Those porta potties can get a little gross, so it's nice to have those. Things like string, hammer for your tent stakes is something you'll really want to have. Ground's extra hard after the summer months of heating that ground up. You also want to make sure you have a first aid kit to be able to treat any injuries that happen. And along with that first aid kit, also hangover remedies like ibuprofen. We've mentioned Pedialyte before. Those things are also important to have.
Yeah, those porta potties are definitely out of control. If you've never seen a Bonnaroo porta potty, you're in for a treat. Also, you're going to want to make sure you have at least 2 comfortable pairs of shoes. You're going to be walking a lot, and I'm talking about a lot. Jeff mentioned Gold Bond because you're going to be walking a lot, and that's for chafing. If you start getting blisters when you're wearing one pair of shoes, you switch over to the next pair. Also, have a poncho. It may not seem like much, but that rain, when it starts to rain, it is cold. Especially when you're out there, when you're wearing shorts and a tank or anything like that out there in Bonnaroo, it keeps you dry whenever it starts raining. So that's a good thing to have.
Another tip for being prepared for Bonnaroo is to make sure you have a full tank of gas before you get down to Manchester. Because if you've never been before, you don't know this, but a lot of the times you have to wait in line for a really long time. Our first year there, we waited in line overnight, and we didn't get in there until about 11 or 12 the next day. So you just never know. Just be prepared for that, because you don't want to be, in line almost up there and then end up running out of gas. Just be prepared for anything that might happen in regards to that. And also make sure you have everything before you leave. You don't want to get down to Manchester and realize, you forgot some very important items. So, make a list of what you need and double check it to make sure you have everything you need, so you don't have to stop at the last minute. And another thing is bring your own food. It cuts down on the cost quite a bit. The food inside Bonnaroo is delicious and it's great, and I think you should definitely try some, but it's not necessarily fiscally responsible to eat every meal inside Bonnaroo. We mentioned earlier with the frozen water bottles and the dry ice, bring a lot of lunch meat, bread, fruits, protein bars, energy bars, anything you can. Have a sustainable diet for the 4 days.
At minimum, bring snacks or energy bars or something you can eat when you're not at Bonnaroo, in case you would need something when you're back at your campsite.
Last year I literally ate protein bars and water. I just filled up my backpack with water bottles and protein bars, and that's pretty much what I ate every single day, other than a few meals that we got at Bonnaroo. Meal replacement bars, those work really well because those have a lot of calories. Eat them, they'll fill you up, and it'll last you for a couple hours at least.
These are some tips to help you be prepared at Bonnaroo in case something doesn't go exactly how it's supposed to. Hopefully they'll help you make the best of a bad situation and be able to keep having a great time even if things don't work out the way they're supposed to. The next Bonnaroo tip is to have a plan. Talk to the people in your group and have a plan in place before you go out and get caught up in all the fun that is Bonnaroo. You want to learn the map. Study that map on either the Bonnaroo app or online and kind of get an idea of where things are. You may think you know it well, but once you get there, things kind of get confusing and it's hard to figure out exactly where you are and where you need to go to see the shows you want to see.
Another big part of being prepared and having a plan is to know that you can always have your smartphone charged or your cell phone charged. Because they do have charging stations in Bonnaroo, but they cost money, and you don't want to use those. So what we have here is a portable music device, but it also charges your cell phone too. It's the Sound Blaster X200. You can get one of these, or you can get a little battery-powered charger to keep your cell phones charged throughout the 4 or 5 days that you'll be there. Also, last year when we wanted to charge our cell phones, I started up my car every morning and used my car charger. So you're going to want at least to make sure you have a car charger or a battery-powered charger like this one to charge your cell phones.
And put your cell phones, close all the apps out, find out ways to save battery on them so they don't go dead as fast. With the low service that they sometimes have, and with all the cell phones fighting for service, they can run out of battery, and being stuck without a battery in Bonnaroo when you're looking for your friends trying to meet up to go see a show can be really not fun.
Even by taking those precautionary steps, you know, your cell phone still might run out of battery, you know, so it's important to have a meeting place set up. So at the end of the night, if everyone in your camp gets separated, you have a meeting place where you know you can go and wait for people to come by in your group. We got separated from each other last year, and like a miracle, this guy comes through at our meeting spot and picks me up.
And you also want to make sure you know how to get back to your camp. At the end of the night, after a full day of fun, maybe you're not thinking as clearly as you would early in the day. So really know how to get to your camp spot, learn the name of your camp spot, what pod you're in, and be able to get from Bonnaroo back to your camp. You can do things like have a flag or balloons or some type of signal that makes your campsite easy to spot from farther away. Learn the landmarks that are around if you're close to a certain pod, or if you're close to maybe some of the vendors that are in the camp area. Be able to get back to your camp area, that way you get home safe at the end of the night or in the morning, like some of us like to do, and keep having a great time at Bonnaroo.
Can't underestimate the importance of a flag. You know, when you're stumbling back to your campsite late at night for whatever reason, it's nice to see that flag and know exactly where you need to go. So that's just something to keep in mind. All these survival tips aside, the number one piece of advice we have for you at Bonnaroo is to just have fun. You know, it's going to be one of the best weeks of your life, hands down. So just enjoy it. Embrace every situation that comes your way, good or bad. Make the most of it, and just remember to have fun all the time. I mean, it's not going to be hard. It's a great time, great atmosphere, great people, and obviously great music. Bonnaroo is about the music, but it's also more than the music. It's just the whole experience. So the number one piece of advice is just to have fun.
When you get that wristband, you're going to have 80,000 new friends. Embrace everyone, get to know everyone, and really enjoy the week.
And give high fives like there's no tomorrow. That's what I did last year. So it's one thing to know that you're prepared and you have a plan and you're getting well rested and staying hydrated, but above all, you want to have fun. If you can't get all of the stuff, don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself out about not having certain equipment or anything like that, because the number one thing about Bonnaroo is just having fun, and getting the most memorable experience that you can possibly get.
Hope these tips help. Have a great time.
We'll see you in the farm. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.